Welcome into this week's Cornhusker Conversation presented by Woodhouse. This week we're sitting down with Elliot Brown, a wide receiver, but really a do-it-all kind of guy for this Nebraska football program. Thanks so much for being here with us this week.
Oh, thank you. I'm happy I get to do this and hang out and talk with you.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait to get to know you a little bit, but we have seen you and talked about you on the broadcast and how you are kind of in a coach's role on the sideline a little bit. So let's start with just, the response from this week, how this team handled the loss last week and how they've approached practices and preparations this week.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it sucked. Like, it hurts. Like, it just leaves that sting in your heart that we could have been there, we should have been there. And so this week we kind of just got together and it was like, listen, like, last week happened, let's learn from it, let's watch the film, let's correct the mistakes, and then we went out there today and we got after it. I felt like it was a very competitive practice. Like, guys really aren't going to allow that 1 week to hinder the rest of our season, whereas like previous years it would be kind of a lull, maybe things would kind of start to snowball, but I think it was good to see a response out of everyone this week.
Yeah, I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but just talking with some of the guys, it felt like a different response to a loss this year. Like, it was more like they got mad about it. They're determined. You guys want to correct the wrongs and get better from it.
Yeah, I feel like, these last years, obviously I've been here for a while, and these one losses have been, our MO, where it's like, oh, here we go again. Like, this is the same old Nebraska. Whereas this year, I feel like it's like, no, we're not going to let it happen. This is a one-time thing. It was a one-time, it happened. We're going to learn from it, like we said, but this isn't who we are anymore. We've changed our culture. We've changed the way we do things, and this is a new team that nobody's ready for.
How have you seen, too, just, the players stepping up and being more of a voice in that regard and hey, we want to take this thing on and we want to challenge each other and hold each other accountable throughout the week? Yeah,
Coach Rule did a great job. After last week, he said, listen, we're not going to, the coaching staff's not going to be the one to try to get you guys riled up and to try to fire you guys up. It's on you. And we have great leaders, obviously. We have older guys like Gifford and Bryce and MJ and all these different guys all over the place that they take responsibility. We take responsibility as it's not their job to try to get us fired up and want to fix things. It's got to be on us. And so I feel like we've done a great job of getting everyone on the same page, realizing what we have to do to go out there this week and play to the best of our ability. It doesn't matter who we play. All that matters is about what we do when we go out there.
For the offense, we've just seen so many different guys get involved, especially in the wide receiver room. What's been your perspective of that and how Coach Satterfield's been able to utilize so many different guys?
It's been awesome. I love it. I love watching all of us go out there, and we have a lot of weapons. We got running backs, we got receivers, we got quarterbacks, tight ends, even the O-line. They get out there and just dominate. So it's been cool to watch and just see how many different ways we can not just draw up plays, because we talk about it all the time where it's like we're not playing the plays that they draw up. We're running the plays and we're making them come alive. So having explosive plays from a bunch of different guys all over the room has been really fun because, everyone gets the touches and the touchdowns and you can see everyone's celebration. It creates a lot of energy that we may not have had in the past. So to be able to hear all these different things and see all these different things come to life, it's been really cool. It's been a lot of fun.
A lot of times quarterbacks can get real comfortable throwing the ball to one or two guys, but what about Dylan? What can you say about him and the way that he trusts and wants to get so many different guys involved as well?
I think that's the biggest thing is that trust. He's a special kid, there's no doubt about it, but the trust that we've developed between receivers and quarterbacks, and not just Dylan too, that's the craziest part about it to me, is we have a 3-4 deep quarterback room that we can throw any one of them out there, and we trust all of us as a unit to go out there and get the job done. Going out there, we take extra reps after practice, throwing routes, getting our depths right, getting our timing and everything. We can count on them the same as they can count on us. So we don't have a problem with going out there any given Saturday and just being able to know that we can dominate whoever we go against.
One thing we saw on Saturday, and I know the coaches have talked about it since, there's been a couple of jump balls not go Nebraska's way, and even Isaiah told me after the game, I got to be more physical with the football. What kind of challenge is that for the wide receiver room? Hey, when they're throwing up a ball, and when Dylan's throwing up a ball for you, you guys got to go make a play on it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like we know we can make these plays. Like, we know we just got to go and just be that gritty receiver that comes down with everything. And it's been there. Like, we've had the ball in our hands. It's just, we got to take it upon ourselves to make sure that we come down and we get that call. But being able to have that trust, like we were talking about in our quarterback, to say, hey, we trust you guys to go make these plays. Where he's told us multiple times he's not going to stop throwing us the ball. And so to be able to have that, we took it on ourselves as a receiver room and said, all right, he trusts us to go make these plays. We got to get it done.
Well, it's been fun watching you on the sideline. You wear the headset. You're basically like coaching up the wide receivers because Garret McGuire is in the booth. What's that been like for you, taking on that role and helping out on the sideline?
It's been really cool for me. Last year we did a little bit, kind of like, it was almost like an experiment to see what it would look like, how it would work. It went well, and then obviously I got hurt, so things kind of switched up. We didn't finish out the year the same way. And then this year, it was kind of a question mark, like, are we going to try to go back to that? I've been playing a little bit of special teams, so how is that going to work with it all? And so working with all the coaches and even the equipment staff, making sure I got the headset or the helmet or whatever I may need. It's been a fun experience. I've loved every bit of it. We got a system worked out where we flow, we got everything, so I'm not missing anything. But I enjoyed a lot being able to work with these receivers, some of these young guys, even some of the new guys like Jamal and Nair. Like, they're new, they're older just like me, so being able to work with them and share insights about how we're seeing the defense and how we're reading DBs and all that sort of stuff, and then obviously relaying it to Coach G up in the box. It's been really fun. I'm very blessed to be able to be the position I'm in, and hopefully we just keep on rolling.
What about just having that kind of responsibility and that this coaching staff trusts you with that? How is that, and how much does that mean to you that, hey, that this is an important role that they're trusting you with?
It's kind of crazy because, like, I almost forget about, like, what I'm doing is so important, because it's like I'm just showing up every day. Like, this is my thing. Like, this is the job that I know I have to perfect and do to the best of my ability. And then to kind of like have you say that, and like I'm hearing it, and I'm just like, oh yeah, this is like a big deal. It means a lot to me to know that, like, Coach Rule, Sat, Coach G, all these guys trust me to be this person and help out with the team in the best way that I can. It does mean a lot to me, so I want to make sure that whatever I'm doing, I do it to the best of my ability, so that way we can win as a group and as a team.
What's the communication like? I mean, without giving anything away, but the conversations like between you and Coach G and the coaching staff when in the midst of a game and everything is as it's unfolding.
No, it's pretty cool to like see how it all plays out, because obviously G's up there in the box with Sat, and they're doing all their stuff, getting us the right plays and they're dissecting coverages and doing all that stuff, and then I'm like a voice for him to be able to speak to the receivers. Like we were saying, it puts a lot of trust in me too, to be able to like, hey, I trust you to like relay my message and like give your own like point of view on things. If I see something that maybe they don't see, I can help out the receivers. But it all goes back to just trust. That's the biggest thing, is like they trust me. Obviously, I trust them, and we work very it's in a flow state. Like, everything's a little give and take. We just help each other out with everything, and it's very cool to see.
Give us a perspective of Coach McGuire and what he's like, and just coaching you guys up in the receiver room, but then also just his offensive mind.
He's awesome. He's super smart. I've never been able to see a coach who has really never played the position be able to be such a good teacher at it. He was a quarterback in college and all through his high school, and I can relate to that. I played quarterback in high school and stuff, but then to have him like teach us the offense from a different perspective while still teaching us how to play receiver is something that I've never seen before. He does an amazing job at it. I love having him teach us the offense from a whole like quarterback standpoint. So we're not just learning, this is what you have on this play as a receiver. It's what does the quarterback look at? What is the O-line doing? How does it all work together in like timing and aspects and all that sort of stuff. So I think it helps us a lot to really understand what's going on, to be able to play at like a level 4 level instead of just the base.
Yeah. Why did you want to take on this role? You could have said, nah, I think I'll just, do my thing playing football or whatever it might be. Why were you okay in stepping into this role?
To be honest, I don't really know. It just kind of happened one day, I feel like, last year. I've always had a pretty good understanding of everything, and like I always wanted to make sure I knew all 3 positions, knew what kind of how G teaches it. I always wanted to make sure I knew as much as I could, and so that kind of allowed me to be that guy that they rely on to go out there and do this. And it just kind of happened one day, practice, helping signal, and then they're like, all right, like, you're up, like, let's go. And I was like, all right, sounds good. And in my mind, it was whatever I can do to help the team win. that's the biggest thing is like if this is my role that I need to do, and we can win on Saturdays, then I'm all in. I'm gonna go 100%. I'm gonna learn everything, make sure everything I know is correct and how it's supposed to be, and then let's just go do it.
You know, it's not just the coaching up the wide receivers on the field. It's also you got involved with the player development part of things, and that's been something that Coach Rule's implemented with Gus Felder. Tell us about that and why that became a passion of yours too.
It all kind of started because Gus is the man. He's awesome. He's a perfect guy to do that job. He's so relatable. There's just something about him where you can go to him with anything. You need advice. You need coaching. You need just someone to sit down and talk to. He's there to do it. And so we created a really cool bond when he first got here, just talking about different things. And I just liked hanging out in his office and all that sort of stuff. And then one day I was just like, hey, like this is something I'm really interested in, just the impact he has on people. And so we kind of talked about, what it could look like. And so we kind of just devised up a plan. I went to Coach Rule and he was like, I think this is a great idea. Like we should, whatever we can do to get this to work, let's do it. And so that was last winter. I was pretty much an intern for Gus. So whatever he needed of me, whether it was, go checking guys in at class or making sure guys are at, community service or whatever it may be, it just kind of, that's what happened. And then it's kind of just stayed. And I just love being able to, especially with the younger guys, because the younger guys see me as like the old grandpa of the team. And so I take that role and if I can help them in any way, that's what I want to do. I feel like God put me on this earth to impact people in a positive light and just really use what he's given me as my characteristics to just bless people around me, and hopefully I can be a blessing to everyone I come in contact with.
I love that. How important is that side of it that Gus Felder does, the community service, those kinds of things, to just the overall culture of the program that Coach Rule's implementing here?
I think there's like two sides of it that people a lot of times don't realize. Is like they see us as the guys that are on the field on Saturday playing football. And yes, that's very important. That's what our job is. That's what we do. But there's a lot of stuff outside of that, of the football realm, that it takes a lot of energy out of you. Like, you have school, you have life, you have family, you have whatever is going on, like just in your mental state. It's a lot sometimes. And so to be able to have that person or that group that you can go to and just kind of cool down with and talk to and just be a part of, I think it's a really important. And then the community service aspect of it is people need us. They look up to us as Husker football players, whether it's kids, adults, whatever it may be. And so the more we can get out in our community and show that like we're not just football players, we're normal people we care about you, and I know you guys care about us. That's what is so important to me. We just did Food Bank of Lincoln. We went out and served food to people that are just a little bit in need. I was handing out mangoes for like an hour on Wednesday, and I could see how much they were impacted by it, and that's what impacts me, is realizing that I can do something in my position that I'm in as a Husker football player that can impact so many people around me.
That's amazing. Why are you wired that way? Because it was even before Coach Rule got here that you were giving back. You were involved in the community. I know life skills, you're one of their MVPs. So, why are you wired that way? Where does that come from?
I think a lot of it has to do with my family, my parents. They're a blessing. They're so good to me growing up. They just showed me how to live, how it should be done. God creates a perfect image of how to take care of people around us and how to love people around us, and they just showered me with that love and affection and just kind of raised me that way. I can't give you an answer of how I'm wired this way. I know personally it's just that's how God created me, and I'm in the position he put me in to be a blessing to people around me. I know I'm here for a reason, and I want to make sure that I do the best of my ability to follow out my plan that he has created for me.
That's great. Going back to high school, and you mentioned you were a quarterback, and I know that you had other opportunities to go play elsewhere. Why did you want to come here and come to Nebraska and walk on? Why was that the path for you?
It's always been my dream. My dad played here back in the day, so I grew up coming to games. We used to come to back when they had the field, or the Hawks, like it was open to the public, so we used to go and play catch with the football out there. I used to get my face painted. I was just a kid. I loved coming to the stadium, like watching the games, and it was just I always dreamed of being on the field myself. And so when the opportunity came where I had this this shot to come and live out my dream. I knew I wanted to take it. And then the other part is like how we were just talking about, there's a bigger path for me. There's something more to this. For me, it's not just football, even though that is so important. It's everything else that I'm able to do. Host my own football youth camps, go around to schools in Nebraska and talk to kids. Just the platform that Nebraska gives you as an athlete, I wanted to be able to use that to the best of my ability. And so I had the opportunity, and I knew I wanted to take it.
That's awesome. Being that you've been here for so long and you've been able to really be embedded with this coaching staff and understand, their direction, what is it about Coach Rule and his vision that you guys have bought into it, you believe in it, that you think it's going to work here?
It's just like you look at who they are as people and you can kind of really attach yourself to them. It's not just about, football. It's they want to make you a better person, a better man, a better father. He talks about it all the time. It's like, yes, we do tough things because we want to win on Saturday, but when you get out of here and you go, whether it's you're working at a job, you're owning your own business, or you're just a father, things are going to be tough. That's how life goes. And so he really prepares you for that stuff outside of football, along with making you a winner in this sport. And that's something for me that I think is super important. Just, finding that why of why you do things, and that's what propels you to be great. And that's just something that I think from day one he's really spoken out about and made his foundation, and so I can get behind that any day.
That's great. It's funny, so when we had Garret McGuire on in the summer, we were previewing the wide receiver room, and we brought you up and your just contributions as on the sideline and what you've done there. He said you could be whatever you want to be, anything you want to be. And I don't think I would have guessed what you told me you were striving for. Tell us about that, what you're kind of maybe looking to do next when you're done playing football.
Yeah, so as of now, my parents tell me my dreams change every 5 minutes. I got a squirrel mentality. Everything's all chaotic. But as of now, I want to go into MMA. I want to go fight in the UFC and hopefully be the lightweight UFC champion of the world in the future. And so I'm training now with a couple other wrestlers over at the Devaney, working on my sparring, working on my jiu-jitsu, my wrestling, all that ground game stuff. Obviously, boxing I've been doing with back at home with Grover Wiley at Undisputed Punch Fitness, and I think I can do it. My mom and dad think I'm crazy. They don't understand it, but it's just something I think I want to pursue, and I think I can do it.
How nice is it to have the Nebraska wrestling, the facility over there, and the guys that you can work with over there? It's a pretty good wrestling program to work with.
Yes. They are definitely one of the best in the country. And so I went to class with one of them, and we were just chatting it up one day, and he mentioned he liked MMA, and I was like, oh, dude, I love MMA too. And so I texted him a couple weeks ago before the season. I was like, hey, if you ever want to wrestle or just work out together, let's do it. And he goes, I'm actually training Monday and Wednesday if you want to come join. I said, sign me up. So I've been going over there the last couple of weeks, getting my butt kicked, but it's been awesome. I love it. So
for people that might not be aware or understand, what does that journey look like? When you talk about being a UFC champion, how do you get there? What's that process?
Okay, so I've drawn out in my mind this little path for me. I'm going to train, obviously, get all my, all the things that I need to get done, get dialed in, and then I'm going to go fight, obviously. Amateur, fights under your belt, you learn as a fighter who you are, and you go pro, and that's when your fights really matter, your record really matters. And then once you get some wins stacked up, I'm going to try to go get on Dana White Contender Series. So if somehow Dana White, you see this, watch out for me, I'm coming. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to prove that I'm a really good fighter on that show, and then hopefully we'll get the contract from Dana White, and that'll sign you into the UFC, and then from there, just like Conor McGregor, I'm going to skyrocket to lightweight gold.
That's great. Dana, come on, let's make it happen. Where do you feel like you're at right now in that process?
I would like to fight by at least the beginning of next year. So training right now, really making sure I'm good on I'm good. I feel like I'm good with the boxing style, the striking aspect of it. It's the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu that I'm really trying to focus on right now. And so once I get that, and obviously training just more periodically because we're in the middle of the season, so I can't go too crazy with it. But hopefully I want to fight by next year and just continue every step of the way.
I have no doubt that you will get wherever you want to go, but I know that there will be some point that somebody will say, well, how did your role and your time as a Nebraska football player help you? And at this point, what do you think that you've learned playing for this program that you think could maybe help set you up for chasing those dreams?
I think the biggest thing for me And this is what I tell, like when I go to schools, like to the elementary schools around the state, is what I tell, like, the biggest message that I can give to kids is I was a walk-on. I still am a walk-on. I'm very proud of that. I've earned everything that I've come to by hard work and by putting my head down and just going for it. And so over the last couple of years, you know, things haven't really gone my way. I wasn't able to get on the field, whatever it may be. Just keep my head down. I just kept my legs churning, just kept working, and hopefully I was just hoping that one day my shot would come. Rule came in with his staff, and they've really allowed me to do what I've wanted to do. And so I think that over the last 4 years has gonna set me up to be able to go and like chase my dreams that I want, because things might not go my way. It might be tough at times, but if I just keep my head down, keep working, you know, allow God to just guide me through this plan and through this process, that I can truly get anywhere that I want. And so that's what I always try to tell the kids is like, whatever dream you have, no matter how crazy it may seem, people may laugh at you for it. If you really want it, you go work as hard as you can and nobody will stop you.
You know, and while you're balancing that, you hope to continue to write to help out here. And again, you're still trying to figure it all out, but that's something that you want to maybe do together, is still work in football, work in player development, and chase this dream.
Oh yeah, for sure. If I can, you know, tie it all together, you know, maybe even teach some of these knuckleheads how to box or work out, like wrestle and do that stuff. It's a great workout. And so, you know, continue to coach, maybe be player development, whatever it may be, whatever God's plan is for me, whatever we can, you know, figure out with Coach Rule and the staff, I'm game for whatever. But just being able to be in this opportunity where I have these options it's a blessing for me.
Oh, that's amazing. And then one day you will be leading the team out in the tunnel walk.
That's what I'm saying. When I saw Bud, I was like, oh, this is going to be me, Sid. This is going to be me.
Oh, that's fantastic. All right, well, let's circle back and talk about Purdue going on the road. How much does this team enjoy a road test? You haven't done it yet, but I know there's a lot of guys that have played a lot of football here. How much do you guys enjoy that road mentality?
I mean, for me, it's really cool because obviously Husker fans travel well, so we'll still have a little bit of fans in the stadium. But when it comes down to it, it's us. It's us against all of them. And so being able to create that energy from just our sideline, our team, our brothers, our family that we have, there's nothing like it. Going out there and you're in enemy territory, right? It's us versus them, and we just know that we've worked so hard that nobody can stop us. So being able to go out there and play the way we want to play, and then getting on the plane, coming back home, having fun, I love it. I think road games are one of my favorite experiences because it's a different environment, right? It's us versus them. No one else is like on our side per se, but that's when you find out who you really are.
Man, what an incredible conversation. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here on this week's Cornhusker Conversation.
Thank you.